Hey everyone, it's mini training day. Get excited. Let's get started. Today I wanted to talk about the next level of sales, and this is what your brand really hinges on, because I see a huge difference between a coach that's trying to sell $50 courses versus one that's trying to scale to 5-figure months. If we're trying to take this elevated leap and we want to leave our basic brand behind and really deepen it and strengthen that connection and drive sales with it, there are 3 huge mistakes that I constantly see. So the 3 biggest mistakes that I see in people's sales posts, that's what I'm going to go over today. I'm going to talk about exactly what I notice in the difference between a coach that's ready to scale and a coach that just won't. So number 1 is really boring, and it's when you just list the course description. I can do that. I can go to the sales page and figure out what the course is, but you gotta hook me with something. If me as the viewer does not feel like it's touching on any pain points or that I can relate to it at all, I am snoring and scrolling right past your course description post. Now this one, number 2, is actually very interesting because when you're looking to scale, you're actually also scaling your niche. And this was something that took me a little bit to learn. But if you're speaking to a lower level client, that's a mistake. I see this time and time again with mystical coaches that don't want to teach baby witches anymore, and yet all of their messaging is skewed towards baby witches. Then you start to resent your niche and you resent your brand. And I feel like one of the biggest disconnects with this is a confidence in your own abilities to know that you can teach intermediate or, get to that next level. And that's your brand. And the third and final biggest culprit, which I am actually going to split into 2 common categories, is abandoning the sale. And I really want to talk about this at length. So when I say abandoning the sale, it means that you're just kind of like dropping it there for the viewer to do anything with. And when people do not come to Instagram or social media platforms to buy, they actually need you to motivate them to do that. So it doesn't work. And what I found specifically with my clients is that it takes a lot of shadow work to understand why we do it. We're either not confident in our brand or ourselves or our abilities or our abundance. There's a lot to unpack around that specifically. So one way abandoning the sale shows up is by adding fake urgency. So you'll just drop the date that the doors close at the end of your sales post, right? Where it's like, what am I supposed to, why do I care? Why do I care? I'm not saying that this is a bad tactic. It's a hollow tactic. If you're not spending the rest of the post showing exactly why they need it at this time, then the date doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant. The second way that abandoning the sale shows up is when you don't tell your audience or your ideal client why you are the person that's going to help solve this problem. And here's my example. If you just talk about how astrology is great and it's amazing and going to fix your life, and then you drop your course, who cares? We can all do our own research. We can go to another coach. Why are you the one specifically that's going to teach me astrology in this particular way? And again, this is a confidence issue, because if you're not stepping into your full ass brand identity and you're like, just kind of going with the flow, going with the motions and not understanding at a very deep and intimate level why you are the shit, you're missing a huge piece of what it takes to scale. Because if people are investing a lot of money, they really have to believe in you, which means you really have to believe in you. So that brings me to my program, The Elements of Branding. This is what I do. I help get in there, and it's direct feedback from me. I'm intimately showing you exactly what your brand is missing from a shadow work perspective, from a mystic's perspective. It's dope. I help you extract your brand identity from a third-person expert perspective that's actually going to help connect with your ideal client in a way that you've never been able to before, thus getting you to money months that you've never been to before. And this isn't just for coaches. Honestly, anybody that's looking for some sort of visibility on their brand, realtors, artists, models, anyone using Instagram to sell or to gain exposure can benefit greatly. This is also the cheapest and most exclusive way to work with me right now. In September, I reopened my one-to-one, but that is much more expensive. And I don't know when I'm going to be launching this course again. So if you want to start scaling now, cut the bullshit in terms of your brand, stop pulling your hair out, really get to the nitty-gritty of why you're put here and get in the faces of the people that need you, you should swipe up.